All right, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to another first episode of First Attack. First of all, we're trying a different setup here. So I actually have the microphones not necessarily at my, right next to my face here. So I want to make sure that you guys can actually hear just fine. Can everybody hear me just fine? See what people say. Can people hear me just fine? Alright, awesome, cool. Okay, so today, everybody, of course, if you had been following us on Twitter, I said we are going to learn about something that I should have taught a couple of weeks ago because my lesson in training mode yesterday went over option selects, but this week I am going to finally go over option selects and teach everybody exactly what option selects are. Now, before I get started here, I know I tend to get in a little... Is there people saying there's a little static in the background? Let's see if I can hear the static. It might just be because I have the microphones on kind of loud, so I think they can pick up a lot of just random noise. Okay, in any case, hopefully, I'll be able to talk loud enough that the static won't be a problem. But before I get started here, I actually, you guys can hear the computer fan? Is that what it is that you're hearing? Let me see. Okay, well... Hopefully it won't be too bad. I'll try to talk over it as much as possible. Try to talk as loud as I can. So, what I'm going to show you guys here today, before I get started, before I start talking about all the craziness that is option selects, I actually want to show you guys a funny little video that I ran into a while ago. I tend to go off on little tangents from time to time, so I just want to show you guys a nice little YouTube video here. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen tool-assisted combo videos. You've probably seen, hang on a second. You've probably seen tool-assisted combo videos, and I hope you guys have seen some of those speed runs too, like tool-assisted speed runs. And in case you guys don't know what speed runs are or exactly what all that what all that stuff means. Let me see if I can explain a little bit while I'm setting this video up here. Okay, so the way that tool-assisted combo videos or speedruns work is that rather than actually playing the game yourself, you're generating inputs like on a text file. Like it's literally you're saying, push left, hold left for 27 frames, then hit A and hold A for 27 frames, and then, tap down twice, this frame left, up. You basically, you can program inputs, and the reason why this is significant is because people have been able to create these things called tool-assisted speedruns, where they try to beat a game as fast as humanly possible. There's a lot of really cool tool-assisted speedruns out there, and one of the most interesting tool-assisted videos that I've seen recently... Here, let me switch over to this video for you guys. One of the most interesting ones I've seen recently is this video here. And let me put my lovely mug on there as well at the same time. Yeah, there we go, so I can be watching the video with you guys here. Now, you're not going to be able to hear the sound, but what this tool-assisted video happens to be is someone actually took one set of inputs. So remember, I said you can code inputs, essentially. You can write them down into a text file and such. And this video here is called Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, the Japanese version, and Super Mario Bros. 3. All beat with the exact same input file. Alright, so what you guys are seeing here right now is literally someone created one input file and he has managed to play it. He's used that same input file on all 4 of these Mario games. So this is pretty crazy. I mean, it's really hard to tell what's going on here, but you'll see how he can actually use a lot of little tricks to do this. What he's actually ends up doing here is that, you know, for example, do you see like at the beginning of that video right there, look at the Super Mario 3 corner in the top left. You'll see him just kind of jumping a little bit randomly like that. And the reason why he's jumping like that is because he's making Luigi jump in Super Mario 2, and he's also jumping in Mario Japanese version, which is called Gold Medal Mario and stuff like that. It's a really crazy little trick here. So I'm just going to let it run for a little bit longer so you guys can check this out. Really fascinating video. He starts pulling off like all sorts of crazy tricks. Like while one Mario's jumping, you know, he'll jump with the other Mario and it won't affect this Mario here. Or in Mario 2, if he needs to climb down a vine, like he'll jump with this Mario here, hit down here, and down is not going to affect the other Mario. So you just have all these the same input working for all 4 games at the exact same time. Like you just saw right there. Like watch the 2 right screens. You'll actually see, right? You see how they're jumping at the exact same time, the 2 Marios? Right there. See, you see them jumping at the same time. So it's really kind of a neat little trick here. This is actually really kind of neat that he's managed to take these inputs and applied it to all 4 games at the same time. So it's actually really kind of cool. Alright, so I'm going to stop this YouTube video now here. If you guys want to watch this video at some point in time, it's very entertaining. It's only 13 minutes long. You can watch the whole entire thing, and I'll send out a link. I'll tweet the link a little bit later on. And of course now, by this point, a lot of you guys are wondering, you know, James, why the heck are you showing me all this stuff? You know, what is the story here? And it actually turns out that this is very, very relevant to today's topic, and that this video that I just showed you is probably one of the more complex option selects ever created. And the reason why I showed this video is because I want to take it in a context out of the fighting game realm and show you exactly what it is that option selects are really doing. So a lot of people actually, you know, when they hear option selects, it's a very confusing topic and they don't understand it. And, you know, what you have to realize is what an option select technically is it's programming a series of inputs on the joystick or the control pad to cover multiple situations. So in the situation that we just saw with that Mario video, when you actually, you know, like I said, you can hold down, you can jump with one Mario and hold down with another one so he starts climbing down a vine while the other one's in the air. That's an option select. That is how option selects apply to fighting games. We are going to take a series of inputs, program them, and so that they will take care of multiple situations. So I'm going to show you guys some examples of option selects, but I want you guys to understand exactly how the concept of it works. Because it's just that when most people try to do option selects, they think that people are reacting to things. They think that people are, you know, going, okay, you know what, I'm going to do these 2 things. And it's really not like that at all. Really, you're doing one set of inputs into the controllers, and it will automatically pick the correct result for you. So before I get started in some concrete examples right here, I'm gonna just kind of go through a little bit of history. I like to go into history about, you know, where these terms came from, where, you know, these strategies were born from, because I don't know, it's a little bit of fascinating history, so I apologize if people out there don't like the history, but option selects essentially originated from Virtua Fighter 2. And the reason why option selects came from that was that Akira had a counter move. He basically had a counter that would counter low punches and low kicks, both of which were excellent pokes, some of the best close-range pokes. The code to actually counter that was to tap the guard button and then down and punch. So if you tap guard and then hit down and punch, as soon as you hit down and punch, if the opponent kicked, or if he did a low punch or a low kick, Akira would actually counter them. Now the reason why this actually became such a powerful option select was that if the opponent didn't attack, remember what I just said, down and punch and down and kick were excellent close range pokes. So when you're Akira and you actually hit guard, down, and punch, if the opponent didn't attack you, what would result? There was no whiff animation for the counter. So what would happen is the game would go, oh, the opponent didn't attack, so I'm just going to do the down and punch. So when Akira hits guard, down, and punch, no attack, I'm just going to down and punch. So Akira now ends up doing a low punch, which turns out to be an excellent poke, like I just said. So once you got really close range to an opponent, you could hit guard, down, and punch, like repeatedly. And if the opponent ever tried to counter poke you with a low punch or a low kick, he would get countered. And if he didn't, you would punch him and beat out most of their moves that had longer startup. So essentially, one input, which was guard, down, and punch, carried out and handled multiple situations. This is where option selects were actually born from. And it kind of stretched and it kind of grew. And the term transferred over to Street Fighter Third Strike. This is where, Street Fighter 3. The new challengers, new warriors, whatever it was called. And that's where option selects really started taking a hold in 2D fighting games. This is when you would jump at the opponent, and while you were in the air, you know, before you were about to jump kick them, you would always tap forward and then hit kick first. You would jump at them, tap forward, and hit kick. So basically what would happen is you would just kick them in the head, right? Now, if they uppercutted, the tap forward on the joystick counted as a parry at the same time. So you would hit towards on the joystick, roundhouse. If they attacked, you'd parry it and then kick them because you still hit roundhouse. If they did nothing, you would just kick them. Voila, option select. One set of inputs that handles multiple situations. From there, it kind of grew, and actually, people had been using option select since Super Turbo. In fact, Daigo would use a very powerful option select in Super Turbo, and he's been using it for years. And the crazy thing is, thanks to the prevalence of YouTube, thanks to the prevalence of online forums, thanks to the streaming, thanks to commentators, you know, like David and myself, we started spreading this terminology. Oh, nice option select. Oh, I think he did an option select there. Oh, was that an option select? And unfortunately, as a result, this kind of ended up making people more aware of them, and now, you know, it's almost like it feels like a required thing in fighting games. And while option selects are going to make your game much, much stronger, I don't necessarily feel like they're necessary. In fact, there are some top players like Combo Fiend, actually, I've heard him say this. He hates option selects. He cannot stand option selects. To them, they're almost antithetical to fighting games because he prefers just, you know, godlike reads. He likes reading the opponents. Like, I knew you were going to backdash, now I chased you down. And, you know, when you get up and you backdash, I chased you and tornado through you with Abel. You know, that's the kind of thing that Combo Fiend likes doing. So option selects aren't necessarily vital to your gameplay, and some top players like Vi, Combo Fiend, don't use a lot of option selects. Vi has since kind of put some of them into his game, but they aren't necessary for you to reach that level. So that's kind of one of the things that I want to establish here. You know, I'm going to teach you guys what option selects are because we talk about it so much in commentary. You hear the term so often. But at the same time, I don't want everyone to think that everybody has to use these things. Learn your core game. Learn your fundamentals. Once you've learned the fundamentals, that is when you start applying option selects to your game. That is when you actually start using them. And so there are a couple of option selects that are super option selects that are super important to know. And I've talked about some of them already in some previous episodes. So let's do this here. Let us... Okay, you know what? I'm going to go backwards here. Let us do this. I'm going to switch to the game view here. Alright. So what I'm going to show you guys here is some common, a very common option select that we've all learned recently, which is the crouch tech and anti-poke option select. So remember when I talked about Akira doing guard, down, and punch, how down and punch was an excellent poke. The same can be held true for Ryu's crouching short. Excellent poke. Excellent poke. And we've talked about before how while you're crouching and if you try to throw, you know, you aren't going to go to a throw whiff animation. If you are crouching and try to throw, you avoid the throw whiff animation, you come out with a crouch short. The nice thing about it is that you can actually tech throws while you are crouching. You can still be holding down on the controller. So what ends up happening is, you know, here, let me do this. So, as last week, I talked about learning how to use the training mode dummy properly and actually recording interesting things. I'm going to try to do some stuff here right now. So, crouch, and then I'm basically going to do that. So, what happens here, crouch, and see, he tech through, right? Now, the nice thing about that is, that same motion that I just recorded there where he just tech through, if I try to walk up and do something, you end up low shorting. So it covers two scenarios, right? So it covers the tech throw, so if I actually manage to get in and throw, and if I tried to fake a throw, you end up poking me. That is a perfect example of an option select, even though it's just as simple as holding down and hitting jab and short at the same time. That's all that option select was. And that option select ends up covering a lot of situations. This is the only reason, that option select right there is the reason why we've had to develop frame traps. I talked about frame traps a couple of weeks ago, and you know, I talked about blowing up crouch teching. And crouch teching essentially is an option select. It's the only reason why we've all had to learn that trick. So, you know, of course, if I know you're going to do that, you know, I can blow it up, for example, with Rufus here. I can dive kick. I can fake. See, right there. So if you try to crouch tech right there, I'm just going to dive kick, because now my dive kick will beat both of your options, which is the throw tech and the crouching short. So the reason why I chose Rufus is because there's another very famous crouch option select that people had developed specifically for anti-Rufus. And actually, hang on, before I go on to this, does this actually make sense to people? Is this actually making sense? Are there any questions from anybody right now? Before I move on to the next part here. Okay, so here we go. Here's another option select that's very, very common, which is crouching. And instead of hitting crouch, jab, and short only, in fact, I'm going to turn on inputs here just so you can see my Rufus inputs here. And I'll show you what I'm doing with Rufus instead. I'm actually crouching and hitting jab, short, and strong at the same time. Now, in the plinking episode, in the execution episode where we talked about plinking, I mentioned that if you hit multiple buttons at the same time, the strongest version always comes out. So if I hit all three punches, you see that fierce comes out. So when I do this option select and I crouch and I hit jab, short, and strong at the same time, low strong is going to take priority. Low strong has the highest priority. Knowing that if I crouch and hit these three punches to get the crouch strong, that is how I'm going to build this next option select with Ryu. I'm going to crouch and hit all three punches right there, right? And now I'm going to come out with a crouching strong instead of a crouching short. So now if I play this back, you'll see if I try to throw, okay, I did that too fast. If I try to throw him at that timing, he should end up throw teching. Let's see. Okay, so I waited a long time. Let's try that again. Let's try one more time. right there. So he's going to throw tech there. So that covered one scenario. Let's see if it covers another scenario, which is me just walking back and forth trying to bait a throw. So I'm going to bait a throw, and now he's going to punch. So he's going to attack me. I'm going to block or get hit. I'm going to lose momentum. All right, so the last situation I talked about was I'm going to dive kick at him, right? So he's going to crouch here. Oh, look at that. The crouch strong beat the dive kick. Well, not that time, but right there. So now what we've done is created one set of inputs that covered all three scenarios. That is a perfect example of what option selects are. One set of inputs that handles multiple situations. And I'm going to take a quick break right now. When I come back, I'm going to go over some more complicated scenarios and start showing you building some option selects and how exactly you construct them and why they work. This one's very easy. One button press timing handles 3 different situations, but later on we're going to get to some super complicated option selects. So I'll be right back. Alright everybody, welcome back to First Attack. We are talking about option selects, and I'm going to show you a more complicated option select. If you guys watched last week when I was going over the training mode stuff, this option select is going to look very familiar. This is the one that I talked about last week. So I'll show you what the option select is first, before I actually explain why it works. Okay. So this is the option select that I have here. I have an option select that if Rose gets up and blocks, I'm going to keep my pressure going. If she backdashes, oh, Rose's backdash is too good. Hang on a second, let me change characters. Obviously this works on a character by character basis. I just wanted to pick someone who didn't have an uppercut. And apparently Rose's backdash a little too good. So let's go with Jury. Nice thing about training mode, I will say this, is that the record actually sticks around. So this record should still be recorded here and applied to Ryu. So sweep. There it is, right there. Okay, so once again, if I do nothing, I block 2 jabs. If I actually backdash, Ryu's going to sweep me and catch me out of my backdash. Now you notice, this is the playback on the training dummy. So in other words, I have one set of inputs that has worked for both situations. And the question now comes down to, why does this work? And the trickiest thing about option selects is that option selects are often a result of really understanding game systems and how everything works. That is how that's a lot of people ask me, how do I go about crafting option selects? How to create option selects? It's not so easy as just saying, you know what, I thought of this option select, I'm going to do this. Really, there's a very strong understanding of how the game mechanics work. One of the things that I talked about is that if I hit 3 buttons at the same time, the strongest move comes out. Now, a lot of characters have rapid fire weak attacks. That is, I can actually chain the punch into itself. So to get a little 2-hit combo there, if I do low jab like this, I can get 3 low jabs, right, and get the chain there. Now watch what happens if I hit low jab and then 3 punches at the same time. Remember, I actually said that if I hit 3 punches at the same time, the hard punch comes out, right? So why in this situation, when I hit 3 punches, a jab comes out instead of my hard punch? The reason why this actually happens is because hitting 3 punches at the same time, well, it's the nature by which rapid fire attacks work. Rapid fire attacks can only chain into more light attacks. That is why they're called rapid fire weak attacks or rapid fire light attacks. Because they can only chain into other light attacks, if I hit all 3 punches like that, the game is going to register all 3 punches, and it's going to say, you know what, you hit all 3 punches, I'm going to do a heavy attack. I'm going to do a hard attack. But now here's the problem. I'm in the middle of a low jab, right? So if I mash on heavy punch, you can see nothing comes out. So the game is basically saying, oh, okay, he hit 3 punches. I want to do a heavy punch, but I can't because I'm in the middle of a low jab. So I'm not going to do anything. But wait, he hit all 3 punches, one of which is also light punch. So what happens is the game says, you know what? All right, fine. Since one of the buttons you hit was a light punch, I'm going to let you chain into another light punch. Even though I'm hitting all 3 punches here, it's going to register that light punch. Now, that is the crux of that entire option select that I just did with Ryu. This is the reason why this option select works. The reason why it works is because when low jab actually connects, block stun takes into effect. So the game freezes for half a second and Ryu is going to be stuck in his low jab animation. So if I actually hit, so let's do this again. So if I hit low jab and then low jab plus roundhouse at the same time, low jab is going to take priority over my low roundhouse. And what Ryu is going to end up doing is doing 2 low jabs. If I backdash, whoops, let's mash backdash better here. Right there, I mash backdash. What happens now is that Ryu does low jab, and because there is no block stun, low jab whiffs right away. So in that same timing that I did low jab, on whiff, low jab ends. Now if I hit jab and roundhouse at the same time, what takes priority? The roundhouse takes priority. So the roundhouse ends up coming out instead of the low jab. If Jury ends up blocking, the block stun prolongs the low jab long enough so that hitting the 2 buttons at the same time results in a crouching jab. This is what an option select is designed to do. It is designed to take the advantage of the situation and punish properly depending on what the opponent does. And you don't have to react. You don't have to plan ahead. You don't have to have a sick read. You input one thing and it covers multiple situations. Now, I'm going to do something here. And I'm going to try to utilize some new technology here that I haven't used before. This is some advanced technology to display some stuff to you guys. So, you know, bear with me. Obviously, you know, with the streaming stuff, we've had problems with technology and such like that. So, all right, I'm going to bust out this really advanced technology here called the Whiteboard. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is kind of show you guys, illustrate to you guys a little bit exactly what is happening with this option select. The reason why I'm going to do this now, okay, is that I'm going to show you more advanced option selects later on, and I'm going to show you some basically how it all flows together. So what we're going to do here, yeah, look at this. Look at this technology right here. This is what I'm doing with Ryu. I'm doing light punch. Did I just kill the volume somehow? Or did I? Can you guys still hear me? Can you guys still hear me? Did I kill the audio somehow? Are you guys still there? Okay. Okay, cool. So here we go. This is the option select that I'm doing, right? Now, what's going to happen here is that I'm going to write down 2 scenarios here. I'm going to write scenario 1, and I'm going to write scenario 2. And you know what? I'm going to take off my headphones because the headphones are completely stuck on my head and I can't get any further. Scenario 1, I talked about Jury just blocking. Scenario 2, I talked about Jury backdashing, right? So what's going to happen is that in scenario 1, we are going to generate some block stun here. There's my block stun right there. this is how long my block stun has lasted. So when I do light punch here and I tap light punch here, this is going to result in a second low jab. In the second scenario, on the backdash, so what I'm going to do here is light punch whiff. This is how long light punch whiff takes right here. You can see that by timing it just right, it ends before I hit these buttons. So what ends up happening is that the sweep comes out instead of the light punch. Now, this seems really basic. A lot of you people are like, why is he probably, you know, they're probably asking, why am I showing you all this stuff here? Well, the reason why I'm showing this stuff to you is because now I'm going to do something a little bit harder. I'm going to ooh, you're right. Sorry. My bad. I am failing here. Let's do this again, shall we? Let me show you this, guys, again. Okay, one more time. Let me scroll in here. Sorry, I guess I was too far back. Here we go. Now you guys can actually read this here. In scenario 1, can you hear me now, though? Because now the whiteboard is in front of me. Okay. So, the scenario that we have here is that in scenario 1, we have block stun. This is how long the low jab's block stun lasts, right? So when you actually hit light punch here, and then you wait a little bit and hit light punch and hard kick at the same time, it's lasted as long as the block stun has lasted on the low jab. So when you hit these two buttons here, this first low jab is in the middle of block stun, and these two right here will actually trigger a light punch instead of a heavy kick because of the chain, because of the rapid fire weak attack properties. Now, in this scenario here, if you tap light punch and Jury backdashes, the light punch whiff is only going to last this long. It's just going to end really fast. There's no block stun to prolong the existence of the low jab. Because of that, because the light punch whiffs and ends right here, when I hit these two buttons at the same time, the hard kick is going to come out, take priority of the light punch, and actually catches Jury when she does a backdash. So again, this is kind of an example of how option selects cover multiple situations. Now, again, I repeat myself. A lot of people asking, seems kind of obvious, why am I showing this? Because I'm going to do a little more complicated option select right now. Again, before I move on to this next option select, is there any questions about what's going on right now? What am I talking about here? Okay. All right, here we go. So, I mean, I'm looking at a lot of questions here. Some people are doing, asking, I don't like option selects. I'd rather do sick reads and such like that. Yeah, like I said, it's all depends on your style. I'm not much of an option select person. I don't do option selects very often. Remember, these are tools that will help you, and they will improve your game. They will make you stronger, but this is one of those like 90th percentile skills, right? Don't go into fighting games and thinking to yourself, I really need to learn option selects right away to be competitive. You don't need option selects to be competitive at all. You're better off playing smart, learning fundamentals first, and then learning option selects. All right, here we go. Here is another option select here, and don't get me, I don't want a lot of people thinking that option selects only work in Street Fighter 4. This is another myth that needs to be busted. Basically, is that option selects exist in every fighting game. There are option selects in Marvel. There are option selects in Super Turbo. we've been doing option selects in every fight. Third Strike is full of option selects thanks to parries and such. So this is not something that's unique just to Street Fighter 4. Alright, so in honor of Ultra David here, because he was one of the people who really explored option selects first when Street Fighter 4 first came out. And he did it mostly for Zangief, so I'm going to do an option select with Zangief here. So I'm going to get a sweep here. Whoops. Okay. And remember, again, these are not easy. Okay, so you saw that. That was a 4-hit combo there, right? So let's play this back here. Let me see if I got this right here. Boom, 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 boom. 4-hit combo, right? So in other words, if Sagat just gets hit by it, that's a 4-hit combo. Right? Alright, now let's see what happens if Sagat blocks it. Block. Alright, now I am under pressure here. Zangief is pressuring me with those low jabs. And he can go for an SPD throw afterwards. He's got the pressure. He's got the momentum here. Now here's the trick. What happens if I uppercut? Okay, I did not time this properly. Let's try one more time. Ugh. Let's try one more time. Did I just come out with an uppercut and get baited? Alright, let me do fierce uppercut instead. Ugh. Okay, I'm timing this a little badly. Let me try recording this one more time, guys. I apologize. Option selects are not simple stuff. They're kind of hard, so... Oops. Okay, let's see if I got that to work that time. Ooh, wow, it just beat the fierce one, right? Okay, so let's try the jab one. Beat the jab one too. I am not going to be able to show you this option select because it is, I'm actually beating his splash, beating the uppercut, which is not what I want to do. Alright, let me try one more time. I think that might actually work. Nope. Alright, one more time. Oops. Wow. Okay. Oh, wonderful. Thanks, Dizzy. Remember in the trading mode episode where I said turn off Dizzy? That is exactly why right there, because you just end up with situations like that. Ugh. Let's turn counter hit off. Wow. Alright, Ultra David, your option select is giving me problems. Alright, so that was a 4-hit combo there. Let me try one more time. See if I can get this to work. Wow. This is just not happening. Oh, you know what I should try then? Alright, let me try one more thing. Wow. Okay, that kind of worked there, so let's try it one more time. That's a proper option select. Not what I intended to do. Let me try one more time. I apologize, guys. Here we go. Now, I know he did this on Sagat. This was the one that he infamously did on Sagat here. Let's see if I can get this to work one more time. Oh, man. Come on. Let's think about what the mistake here that I'm doing is. Apologize. You know what it is? I'm jumping from too close. Let's try this instead. Try one more time. One more time Tuesdays? I like that. Let's try Actually, let's see if that worked. Wow, I can't believe I'm actually beating his uppercut. Did they change something in the game that Sagat's uppercut is more punishable? Alright. Okay, so there we go. I've got a good situation there. Let's do that. Oh, you know what? Alright. Alright. I'm going to have to cheat a little bit because this is training mode, and training mode has one fault in it, and I'll explain that in just a second. But here we go. Okay, there we go. I got my option select to work here. And so here we go. If Sagat actually just gets blocks, he's under pressure, like I said. If Sagat gets hit, you actually get the full 4-hit combo. Now, if Sagat actually does a wake up EX uppercut, what happens here? You see that there? I ended up doing a green hand, and I ended up right next to Sagat anyway. Boom, there we go. That is an option select right there, and albeit obviously you can see that option selects are not simple stuff here. But now here's the question. Why does this work? What is going on here exactly? Now again, this is actually, again, a factor of knowing how the game system works. And this is a Sagat specific option select here. So let's do this really quick here. I'm going to show you what the inputs for this option select are. Alright. So what we're going to be doing here is we are going to do a jumping down plus heavy punch. And don't worry, I know it's too far away from the camera. I'm going to bring it up in just a second. So give me 1 second here. And then what I'm going to do is input a reverse uppercut plus light punch, and then immediately followed by a down plus light punch chained into, oops, I don't want to use that. Chained into another down plus light punch, chained into another down plus light punch. Alright guys, here we go. Blammo! Here we go. This is the option select that we have here. If you look at this, what I'm doing is, after the throw, jumping over Sagat and doing down plus hard punch. I immediately do reverse dragon punch plus light punch. Immediately. And this is one of the tricky things about seeing it written out like this in this format, is you don't understand. It's hard to see what the time frame in this. Literally, this from here to here is probably maybe 1 second long. I mean, this happens very fast. So why does this work? How does this option select work? The concept is, again, using that block stun concept again. Using block stun to eat inputs, essentially. So in scenario 1, this is if Sagat blocks or if Sagat actually gets hit. What happens is when someone blocks something, when someone gets hit, we have this block freeze or this hit freeze, right? Where the character stays in the air a little bit. So I'm going to write Sagat's block right here. This is Sagat's block stun right here. This is how long he is in block stun. And now I'm going to attempt something very crazy here. I am writing upside down. So now my writing looks like a third grader handwriting. Woo! Alright, look at that. Look at that. We're getting fancy here today. So this is Sagat's block stun right here. Now if you notice, what happens is that I do jumping hard punch, immediately enter the reverse dragon punch plus light punch, and then another down light punch. So what happens here? This, like I said, is Sagat's block stun. This, what I'm going to draw right here, what I'm going to draw right here is the time Zangief is in the air. This is how long Zangief is in the air. And the reason why he ends up staying in the air this long is because of the hit stun, the hit freeze. Sorry, I have to concentrate while doing this. Okay, so Zangief is airborne during this time right here. So during the block stun, during the hit stun, either one of those, Zangief is still airborne and he inputs this code here. This code basically goes away. It doesn't register as anything because I've already done the body splash here. Doing the body splash here means I can't get any other moves out. So entering this code here does absolutely nothing. Does absolutely nothing. So now Zangief lands and he comes out with the crouch light punch right here. Now let's go over scenario 2. Woo! Alright, here we go. There is no block stun. There is no block stun that happens here. So because there is no block stun and Sagat ends up doing an EX Tiger uppercut, Zangief doesn't get frozen in the air at all, okay? So what happens, that means, is that's how long Zangief is airborne. Because there is no hit stun, because there is no block stun, Zangief lands right away. Sagat Tiger uppercuts, goes under Zangief. So guess what this registers as all of a sudden? This registers as green hand facing the other direction. And that is why the green hand ends up coming out. And so Zangief now will chase Sagat down and be completely in range to punish him properly. Because this is a programmed computer here, I end up doing these low jabs here and jabbing him at the end. But if you're a human and you jump and splash and your green hand comes out and you're like, whoa, okay, I'm just going to SPD him right when he lands. So watch. Let's go back to the game. I'll repeat this one more time. So as a human, you can react to that. You can react to that really fast, stop your green hand, and then just say, you know what, I'm going to SPD him now. Or I'm just going to regular throw him and go for the same option select again. And that is the power right there of the option selects. You have every intention of Sagat blocking everything, but as soon as he does that EX uppercut, you're like, oh, okay, well now I'm in range to punish him. Without that option select, if you had just done low jab, low jab, low jab, Sagat would Tiger uppercut, land way over there. You're Zangief there, sitting there whiffing these low jabs. You are not in range to punish him properly. And this is exactly where the power of option selects come from, is they cover scenarios that you basically had no intention of covering in the first place. But because you added these little extra inputs here and there, it ends up covering the space for you. And I'm going to run to a quick break, really, and then when we come back, I want to talk about one of the pitfalls of option selects, one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people do when they perform option selects. So hang on, guys. Alright guys, welcome back. We are doing option selects here, and I'm going to show you one last little option select here and one of the biggest pitfalls of option selects. And I apologize, I'm using Cami again. I know a lot of people give me a hard time whenever I use Cami and everything. But what I'm going to show you guys here, a lot of the times when people do option selects, one of their biggest mistakes... Let's see if I can get that to work. one of their biggest mistakes is that they have the wrong expectation. So let's see if I can get her to wake up backdash. Okay, there we go. Remember the hit confirm episode that I did a while ago? One of the main things that I said about hit confirms that actually a lot of people really took to heart. I actually had a lot of people tell me that it was just a concept that kind of blew their mind. When I told them in the hit confirms to expect the hit and react to the block. Most people who did hit confirms always expected the block and tried to react to the hit. And that is why they could never properly hit confirm. You had to reverse your thinking a little bit and understand that do the combo, and if they block, then you stop your combo. The tricky thing about option selects is that a lot of people play it the wrong way. For example, I'm going to do the standard sweep option select, and you'll actually see one of the problems with Cammy right here. Sweep doesn't hit, right? So the sweep is not going to reach. But one of the biggest problems that a lot of people actually have is that when they do this option select here, they want to see the option select come out. So in that Zangief situation that I just showed you in the last match, they always go, all right, I want to see my uppercut come out, and then they do the cross-up splash, and Sagat blocks, and they go low jab, and then they don't do anything, right? Now, let's pretend we're not doing option selects, all right? I'm going to turn this training mode dummy to stand there. If I am Cammy here, what am I typically going to do here? I'm going to go, oh, I'm going to go into my combo, right? So let's do that again. I'm going to throw her, and then if I meaty and I go, oh, I'm going to hit confirm into my combo. The problem is when people start putting option selects into their game, they start thinking to themselves, you know what, I want to see my option select happen. It's too cool when the option select happens. Like, you know, the people out there who might not like option selects, go to training mode. Do that Ryu sweep option select I talked about. When the sweep comes out and you hit them out of their backdash, it's just a cool feeling because it's just like, ha, you can't escape from me, right? You can't escape kind of thing. So it's just really neat to happen. So unfortunately, people tend to expect it. So when the opponent actually doesn't backdash, doesn't EX uppercut, you get thrown off. So in this situation here, when I'm Cammy here, I have this option select here. I'm going to show you an option select. Really buff option select. Shout outs to Alion from Europe, one of the best Cammy players in the world. Whoops, I actually hit her with that low jab. That is an option select right there. And you can see the command inputs right there that basically I low jab, quickly did an ultra into all three kicks. Now if she didn't backdash, basically all I'd end up doing is that. Low jab, stand short. Does that come? I'm pretty sure that combos. Yeah, there you go. So I can go, maybe not, but I could do... Sorry guys, I'm just trying to demonstrate a viable combo for you guys so that you can actually see how this is supposed to work. A standing jab does combo into low forward. I know that so much. There we go. Okay, so there we go. There's a whole combo right there. I just did low jab, stand short, stand jab, low forward into drill. Okay, that is a full combo there. So in other words, let's say I go for my option select. If I do it right, okay, so I just completely messed up my option select right there. And basically what I ended up doing is too slow. Just out of curiosity, would a lot of people like to write this option select on the whiteboard as well, or are they not worried about it? But let's just show this again. Okay. Wow, why am I so bad at that? That stand jab low forward link. I'm horrible at that. There it is, right there. So that was the whole sequence right there. That was low jab, 2 fireballs with kick, which ended up as the stand short, and then I comboed into the stand jab into the low forward. And looks like I have about most people who actually want to see the whiteboard really quick. It's essentially the same thing as the sweep one. Just in interest of, actually here, let me just do it real quick, guys. This will be really easy. I apologize for those people who are not interested in seeing it, but too bad. The users have spoken. Boom. All right, here we go. Back to Telestrator Cam. Boom! Tough actin', tenactin'. No, sorry, that's my Madden situation here. All right, here we go. All right. Blam. Here is my option select once again. I'm doing down plus light punch. Then I'm entering the ultra code and hitting 3 kicks. And then I'm doing standing light punch. If I time this properly in scenario 1, when I hit him with the low jab, hit stun's gonna last all the way. My low jab is gonna last all the way this far. So my low jab's gonna last this far. So when I do 2 fireballs plus 3 kicks, the light punch chains into 3 kicks. And just like that Ryu scenario that I talked about, because it's coming off of a rapid fire weak attack, light punch is gonna chain into standing short here. Because I'm holding forward and hitting 3 kicks. That registers as standing short if it hits them. Then I link the standing light punch right here. In scenario 2, if she backdashes, my light punch is going to whiff and end probably right about here. It's just going to whiff really fast. And so what ends up happening is this code registers now as ultra, punishes the backdash, and does a crap ton of damage. Again, shoutouts to Alion. He's the guy who perfected this technology with Cammy. You see him do it a lot. And you know, I'm going to mention that character-specific things are very crazy. I did it on Jury again because you actually can't option select Rose's backdash. Her backdash actually is a little too fast. You'll see it happen sometimes, but if you actually go into training mode and try to program it perfectly, it's so hard to do. It's one of the hardest option selects to do because Rose's backdash, too fast, too far, hard to punish. So, you know, you have to know what characters it works on, and Cammy just sneezed. I love that animation. But, okay, so what I wanted to talk about here was the mindset of the players. When you actually do this option select here, I am expecting the combo. I am not expecting her to backdash. Oops, I just did that too slow. But that is the key right there. You have to realize the ultra is the, quote, accident. That is the covered situation. You are covering the backdash. Wow. And you know, once again, I just want to say that on this whiteboard situation here, one of the biggest things is that this right here is probably maybe 1/4 of a second in timing. Because you notice that I keep doing low jab into ultra because I'm doing it too slow. This whiteboard drawing out here does not represent accurately the time frame in which I have to input this. I'm literally inputting this in maybe 1/2 a second, maybe 1/4 of a second. So I have to do, wow, okay, not that fast. Right there. So that's the right timing. If I do it any slower, the ultra is going to come out. And so, you know, look at on the side here. Look at the commands. It'd be nice if I actually switch the windows again. Let's do that. Look at the commands on the side over there. And look how fast I have to actually input all of this. I mean, that's literally like 1/2 a second. I mean, we could probably break it frame by frame and count exactly how many it is. But again, one of the important things is that I'm just trying to do this. I'm just trying to hit confirm. If she blocks this, I can keep my pressure, right? Because I'm reacting to her not getting hit. If she gets hit by it, I can finish my hit confirm into this combo that I will never ever land. And if she backdashes, the ultra will come out. What you end up seeing a lot of the times, a lot of people sit here and they do low jab, stand short. And because they're sitting there expecting the ultra, they're expecting the opponent to backdash. In their brain, they've already said, I'm going to do this awesome option select, which I really, really want to see happen. They're thinking about the ultra. So when they do this option select and the opponent gets hit by it, or they end up blocking it, what ends up happening is you freeze. You literally go, oh, jeez, I'm not doing this fast enough. One more time. James, one more time, Chen here. And come on, we all know fighting game people. We all know what one more means, right? Whenever people try to leave to go to eat or something like that, wait, one more game, one more game. We know what one more game means, all right? So, you know, I apologize for saying one more, but that's fighting game one more right there. But what ends up happening is they get hit, and then you're like, I don't know what to do. I was expecting them to backdash. I was expecting the ultra to come out. And now your game is completely destroyed because now you're pausing here and you're like, what just happened? Or they block it and you've lost your momentum here. Once again, just like with hit confirms where I said you must expect the hit and react to the block. With option selects, you must expect the basic functionality, what you are supposed to do in the first place. And you don't have to react necessarily to the option select triggering. If you think about it, I'm just going to do this combo like I normally want to. And you know what? If she backdashes, my ultra is just going to come out. So I'm just going to be like, oh, my ultra came out. I can let go of the stick and watch the 5-second animation go, right? And that's the key right there. So in the Ryu situation, don't expect the sweep to come out with your option select. Expect low jab, low jab. Expect 2 low jabs, because then if they block the 2 low jabs, now I can walk up and do frame traps. I can walk up, or if they get hit by it, I can hit confirm into a combo. But if you sit there and go low jab and expect the low roundhouse to come out, and the low roundhouse doesn't come out, you end up going low jab, and now your brain's like, oh, my sweep didn't come out. And now you've frozen yourself. You've lost your momentum. That is not what you want to have happen. You have to just go, oh, okay. You basically just have to be able to react properly off of the 2 low jabs. So right now, if I just said, like, you know, I'm just going to keep poking like this, you know, and then she backdashes, and then I end up ultraing, that's supposed to be the surprise. Don't let yourself get surprised that they blocked or get hit. So that's a very important lesson about option selects here. I am going to go ahead and go on break real quick. When I come back, I'm going to do some Ask jchensor stuff. If you guys have any more questions about option selects, please ask, and I'll try to get to them before we go over there. And I want to apologize to everybody. David is not in the house right now. For those of you guys who know, he just went to Civil War this last weekend. He said that he was going to try to make it. I don't know if his flight is late or if he's just super tired. Because you know what? These 3-day weekends, especially when you go East Coast and come back here and lose a bunch of hours and stuff, it's killer. So I'm just going to assume David is not going to show up today. So apologize, there's not going to be any level 3 focus, guys. But stick around. I'm going to do some Ask jchensor stuff. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back, everybody. Let's see, let me answer some of these questions. No, Ultra David and I did not have sex 3 times before this show. No, I did not leave the door locked or anything like that. I don't think David is selecting his chest hair. I don't think... Yeah, okay. So those are all the option select questions that I wanted to answer. So obviously, let's just move on to the Ask jchensor segment here. Although I did want to say one thing about option selects. Remember, I mentioned that they exist in every game. A very, very common option select, for example, in Marvel, is with Magneto. Just jump and air dash. Jump and air dash and make sure you use heavy punch as part of the air dash. If the opponent jumps up at you, you end up air throwing them. That's a common option select. I do an option select with Felicia. If you're in the air and I go up for the air throw, I super jump up and I hit hard punch or hard attack and immediately do a backwards delta kick. If the jump kick happens to register as a throw, I throw you and I finish my combo. If it hits you, I get my delta kick, ground bounce, go for a combo. If you block it, I delta kick, you block it, and I get away. Option selects exist all over the place. I use them in Marvel as well, and you can see how, you know, they can cover a lot of situations. Don't look at them as like some sort of cheap tactic or some, you know, weird thing. You know, use them when you can. Like I said, I'm not much of an option select kind of person, but in those situations, I will use them. Okay, so let's do some Ask jchensor segments here. And New James Chen asks, when will you let me have an appearance on the show? I told him, unfortunately, I said we did not have sex before, just that during that commercial break or before the show. So there is no 100% New James Chen on the show right now. You guys have no idea what's going on down here, okay? You have no idea. All right, so, okay. Let's go to the next question here. And follow at New James Chen on Twitter. The guy's hilarious, dude. He's so awesome. But Dakari Makani asks me, how can you tell what you need help with in your gameplay? And that's actually really, that's a really good question. Because, you know, a lot of people wonder that, you know, how do I figure out what do I improve in my game? And it's really kind of interesting because I'm guilty of not doing this myself. Try to record your matches. Doesn't matter the quality. Record it with an iPhone, record it with a camcorder, record it however you want. Get the replays on the games itself or whatever. Record it and watch your matches back. Try to figure out where it is that you're taking a lot of damage. Try to figure out exactly what's happening. Like, if you see the opponent jump at you a lot and you block it all the time and you're Ken or you're Ryu and you have an uppercut, work on your anti-air game. If you see the opponent keeps approaching you and just beats you on the ground and you can't do anything about it, work on your footsie game. You know, that's just how it all comes down to. Have other people watch you. If you can play locally with somebody, a very, very important way to learn what you need to work on your game is to talk to the opponent that you're playing against and ask, and hopefully you're good enough friends that he'll be able to tell you, look, you know what, I'm getting all of my damage off of the throw game. You are not teching my throws enough. I just get throws for free all day. If you do not have a lot of these means and you are playing yourself, you really just have to really get a good grasp of what's going on while you are playing your match. And that's what it comes down to again when I always say play to learn, don't play to win. You know, while you're playing, if you see something's happening, keep an eye on it. A lot of times some people are so laser focused on trying to get that win, they don't realize where they're taking the damage and where they're getting hit and such. So that's actually why it's really important to go back and watch your game again and pick on little things too. I remember Ed Ma tells me to do this all the time. Watch my matches again, and I never do it, and he yells at me. One time we grabbed one of my Wednesday night fight matches in Vanilla Marvel, and in like the first 5 seconds, he already came up with like 10 things for me to work on. He was like, okay, why did you do this? Okay, how are you going to get around this? Okay, how is this going to work? I watched those first like 30 seconds and I'm like, I can't learn anything from this. I'm suck at Marvel, whatever. And in like the first 5 seconds of the match, he's like, okay, you need to work on this and this and this. It was pretty amazing. Ed is the scientist, and there's a reason why he's the scientist. But if you can, try to keep in mind what's happening in your round to know exactly what it is. Oh yeah, and yes, you're right. Shout outs to Edma working on PlayStation All Stars. I mean, we've got Edma and Madge on that game. So I'm just gonna say you have two of the craziest scientists on this game. My faith in that game is pretty good right now. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say about that. So let's go to another question. Red Evil Yi asks, what does neutral game referred to? Heard people saying Viper's neutral game in MVC is hard, and I'm confused. All right, neutral game. Neutral game, so when we talked about, if you actually go back to the very first episode of First Attack, I talked about dance and, you know, all this other stuff. If you watch the frames episode, I talk about frame advantage and frame disadvantage. So what is the neutral game? What exactly is a neutral game? Neutral game is this. That is the neutral game. Neither of us have any momentum. Neither of us have any frame advantage. I do not have a fireball on screen covering me. I do not have hidden missiles shooting up into the sky. We're just both jumping around and trying to figure out a way to attack. The neutral game is the situation where neither character is on offense and neither character is on defense. This is a very important concept because you have two very different games you have to play. You have a neutral game, which is how you're going to initiate everything, and then you have the stuff is happening game. That is the technical term for it, okay? Stuff is happening game. The SIG, okay? There are two very different games, and you're gonna have to learn how to transition between both of them for you guys to really understand how to play a fighting game. Your neutral game is very important. How do I get in? Cammy's whole goal is to get in and apply pressure. If I'm a screen away from Jury, how do I get in and start applying that pressure? I need to learn how to go from my neutral game to my stuff is happening game, my close-up game. So that's basically what neutral game means. All right, and another question here from Patmans. There are a few subtle differences between Ryu and Ken, but can't you just play them the same way for the most part? It's true that Shoto's Ryu and Ken both have mostly similar moves. They both have uppercuts, they both have hurricane kicks, etc. like that. You cannot play the characters even remotely the same. I will say this, that Capcom has actually done a pretty marvelous job making Ryu and Ken completely different characters. Their gameplays are so different, and it's just super subtle things. Even like Ken's low forward kick, slower startup than Ryu's. Little small things like that make such a huge difference. In Street Fighter 4, the step kick for Ken, being able to Kara throw off of the step kick, huge thing, huge difference. So even though they're very similar in a lot of ways, they cannot be played the same. Same goes for Akuma, same goes for Dan. They all have uppercuts and spin kicks, and Dan's obviously is the Dan Kukaku, and fireballs and whatever like that. They are all completely different characters. By this day and age, they are not comparable. So if you're going to jump from Ryu to Ken, here's a great example. I can use Ken. I cannot use Ryu to save my life, okay? I can play Ken. Ken is much more shenanigans. Kara throws and fancy combos and weird mix-ups and gimmicks. Ryu is much more fundamental based. So in most fighting games, I've always been able to use Ken. I love Ken in ST. I love Ken in Hyper Fighting. But if you make me play Ryu in any of those games, I am terrible. I am really bad at those characters. So yeah, that is... Don't try to think you could jump from one to the other. Yeah, Third Strike as well. Completely different characters. And, interesting enough, one of the only games where Ken has been better than Ryu. One of the only games where Ken has been better than Ryu. Alright, so last question. This is from Maurice. He would like to say, recently he's purchased Street Fighter 4 AE. He used to play a long time ago. He used to play a long time ago, and when Street Fighter 4 came out, he really wanted to jump into it. and he played it for a little bit. Unfortunately, real life took over, and so he didn't really get to keep up with it, even though he started getting better at it. Now he's trying to get back into it. He purchased AE, he's playing 2012, and he says, aside from being quite indecisive to what character will be my main, I'm having another problem related to the training mode episode that I did last week. One of the things that he struggles with the most is how to apply the knowledge to the match. You know, he's having some knowledge problems. He still has some of the old knowledge, but he'll practice things in training mode, but he can't get it out in match. And it's not even just like, you know, not even complex stuff. It's just basic stuff. Like, okay, for example, he probably is trying to practice the low jab sweep option select with Ryu, and then when he goes and plays it in a real match, he just can't get it out, for example. You know, let me see what else he says here. How do I go about training in online matches against random opponents, especially against fighters that are a lot better? He seems to get stuck and not able to do anything. I understand when it comes to things like combos, a big part is muscle memory, but even when execution of the combo itself is no longer an issue, applying it often still is. This is a really, really good question. I'm glad he asked this. And taking things from training mode and applying it to real life combat is very tricky to do. The understanding is when you're doing it in training mode, you really need to have a proper context of why you are practicing what you are practicing. For example, a lot of people will say like, oh my gosh, this combo with Cammy is so powerful. Like, I'm going to practice jump fierce, low fierce. Oh god, that's right, it's Jury. I have the worst possible character for this. Okay, so I'm going to do standing forward, okay? Against most character, I can do low fierce into low forward. If Jury's standing frames just happen that standing fierce, low forward, crouch fierce, low forward doesn't work. Okay, see, right there. But low fierce into stand strong does. So people are like, oh, I've got this really buff combo, and I'm going to do this really cool combo. But the thing about it is, how often are you really going to land jump fierce on anybody? On anybody in this game. How often do you really find yourself in this situation that you're landing that's jump fierce? And I'm going to say almost never, right? It's very, very rare. When they're dizzy, maybe, right? In Street Fighter Cross Tekken, this does not apply, okay? This is a Street Fighter 4 specific thing that I'm setting. I mean, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, you get a lot of jump-in combos when people hard tag. So it's okay to practice your jump-in combos. There's a practical situation. But that is my point. What you want to practice in training mode is very practical stuff. And so I'm going to practice low short, low jab, low strong into drill. Okay, I missed it there. So let's do this again, right? Okay, now I got it. And you practice this combo all day. Okay, now I've got this combo. You still are not practicing properly. Remember what I said in the training mode episode. Do all sorts of different things. Dash first, low jab, low strong. You know, hit confirm off of that. Hit confirm off of a cross up low short. You know, or, you know, what are some other good examples? For example, I'm going to back throw him and I'm going to empty jump into this combo. Practice that situation. Don't just practice the combo itself. Practice the situations in which you can think of to use them. Because now you're not just building muscle memory for the combo, you're building muscle memory for the situation. That is a huge thing, right? So for example, I'm going to learn, oh, here's this. Yeah, like I'm really awesome because I can do EX Tiger Knee dive kick into this combo. Don't do that. Practice cross up short. Now EX dive kick into the combo. Practice scenarios, practice situations. That is how you're going to learn to apply these things. So for example, the Ryu backdash option select, you know, practice doing a combo first. Do Ryu's towards hard punch into uppercut, dash up, and then try to go for the option select. Or something like that. Practice scenarios and practice situations. And even doing that, once you go into a real match, you might not necessarily be able to use it properly. And then that's where the hard answer comes in. It's just training, practice, and doing it a lot. And again, play to learn, don't play to win. There have been times where I really wanted to learn the Sako combo with Cammy. You know, this crazy combo here. I don't even know. It doesn't work on Jury. So I wanted to do the Sako combo. I would play against people in tournament, mind you. Even though I was not good at the combo, I would go for it anyway. Why? Because I wanted to practice it in that pressure situation. I hit him with the focus attack. I would go for the Sako combo, and I would miss it. Sometimes I would lose rounds because of it. Doesn't matter. Even in that kind of a situation at Wednesday Night Fight Weeklies, to me, it's a Wednesday Night Fight Weekly. It's not a major. I'm okay with losing a match there because I can come back next week. If you're playing online and you're playing a ranked match, this is the problem with BP. A lot of people take BP a little too, like, no, I can't lose BP, To hell with it. Lose the BP, Try stuff that you normally would not try just to see if you can use it in those situations. Sometimes you'll just find, times where you just want to be like, okay, you know what, I suck at uppercut, back FADC into Ultra. Just try it. Try it on a ranked match. Try it in all the situations, and don't take it to heart if you fail and die because of it. Because that's when you're in an actual tournament and you really need to win, you will have the muscle memory, the scenario memory. Scenario memory is a very important thing. You'll have the scenario memory so that when the scenario comes up, you can just, bam, pull out that whatever it was that you practiced, in a heartbeat. Scenario memory is probably more important than muscle memory. I had a whole analogy that I gave to Red Rapper a long time ago during the band matches at Shiggle's Garage. And I'm not going to... Oh, look at this. Hang on a second, guys. Hello? 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 David? Are you there? Hello? Oh, the game footage isn't on. Oh, okay. Okay, my bad. Oh, sorry about that. Alright. Alright. Bye. My bad, guys. I guess David's at home watching. I guess he made it back, so, whoops. Sorry about that. What was I even trying to show anything in this? Oh, I was trying to do the cross-up into the EX dive and all that stuff. Okay, I apologize there. So, but yeah, that's the basic situation. Practice all your stuff in scenario. So, yeah, that's the last question I'm going to answer. And even while he just got home, he's going to troll me from home by calling me. So, all right, guys. I will, that's about it. If you guys have any other questions, please tweet them to at UltraChenTV with the hashtag of AskJchensor. And then also make sure you tune in tomorrow. We are going to be doing the Unnamed Tuesday show still tomorrow. One More Time Tuesdays. That's actually a funny name. One More Time Tuesdays tomorrow. Hopefully Ultra David will be back. Hopefully he'll be well rested from Civil War 4. And then also make sure you follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, and everything. So I'm pretty sure Mix Up Mondays is going on right now, so you can follow them. You can go watch them right now. I think Flash Metroid and Flocker are supposed to be there playing, so there's probably going to be some good Marvel matches going on there right now as we speak. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and see you tomorrow.